Today we are talking about kind of a forgotten commander in Rise of Kingdoms, and that is Leonidas the First. Leo is, in my opinion, one of the most forgotten commanders in Rise of Kingdoms, simply because he only has one pairing with Guan Yu. And ever since Scipio Prime came in the game and people start using Guan Scipio, people kind of forgot about Leo. So today we are talking about whether or not Leo is actually still worth using in Rise of Kingdoms, and whether or not you should invest into him in 2024. If you guys are new here, this is Gainz Gaming. We make Rise of Kingdoms content. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this. We've been doing kind of a mini series on different commanders and whether or not they are worth using in Rise of Kingdoms. So make sure you check out my page to see any other commanders you might be interested in learning more about, whether or not they are worth investing into or using in 2024. Now, Leonidas is an infantry, versatility, and defense commander. Today we are going to go through his skills and talk about whether or not he's actually still usable, or if you should even invest in him still. So his first skill, for the next 3 seconds, this commander's troop gains 30% health and deals direct damage up to 3 enemy troops in a fan of 600 damage factor. If the current target of this troop commander is silenced or being inflicted with an attack debuff within 1 second of the skill being used, the skill deals an extra 50% direct damage. That is why he is such a good commander with Guan Yu, and why the silence of Guan Yu is so important, because Leonidas needs that silence to happen in order for his skill to actually do a decent amount of damage. Now, it still doesn't do a ton of damage, and back when he came out, the 30% health was pretty substantial. Now that's kind of expected on every single new commander of having 20, 30, 35, 40% health on a given commander. So it used to be insanely strong having that 30% health bonus. Now I think that's kind of mediocre. Because if you look at like Mehmed, for example, his museum buff is 30% health. So, you can kind of see how it's, not as strong as it used to be. Now his second skill, if this commander's troop contains only infantry units, it gains 30% defense and gains rage 15% faster. Now, this is important because, with Guan, you want to fire off as many skills as possible. So using Leonidas with Guan, you're going to be silencing a lot more enemies with this rage being increased by 15%. Getting the extra defense bonus is really nice as well. Now his third skill, if this commander's troop has less than 50% units remaining, whenever it is hit with a basic attack, it has a 10% chance to gain a damage absorbing shield, damage factor of 800 for 3 seconds, and gain a 15% bonus to infantry attack with a 4-second cooldown. Now obviously you'd rather get the shield than the attack in this case, because 15% attack isn't substantial and the shield is pretty solid. So getting that shield with Guan is going to be really, really nice, because Guan does benefit from getting that shield. Because if you look at Guan, after receiving a shield, this commander's troop deals 15% more skill damage for 3 seconds. So, you are getting pretty good amount of bonus for getting that shield. That's also why people like having the lucky coin on Guan, because you get a shield. Now his fourth skill, if the commander's troop is on the map, whenever it launches a basic attack, it has a 25% chance to gain a 10% bonus to damage dealt for 5 seconds. This effect can stack up to 4 times and its duration resets whenever it gains another stack. So this is up to 40% bonus to damage dealt, with a 25% chance to inflict that. So that is pretty likely to happen, probably at least once every skill cycle. So that is honestly substantial, because, that's a 1 in 4 chance. And there's probably going to be, between, depending on different commanders, like 6 to 10 normal attacks before you get an active skill. I think the average is like 7 or 8, give or take. I might be wrong on that. If I am, let me know in the comments below, but I think it's like between 6 and 8 between when you actually get your active skill to fire off, like 8 seconds or so, 6 to 8 seconds. So, basically 1 in 4 chance of getting up to a 40% bonus to damage dealt. That is substantially strong. That is insanely strong. So this skill in itself is insane. And plus this third skill is going to be really, really good paired with Guan. That's another reason why Guan and Leo is literally like a match made in heaven. They are a dynamic duo. They are probably the most synergetic pairing in the game, besides maybe like Attila Takeda. But still, Guan Leo are like, if you don't have Leo with Guan, Leo can't go with anybody else. Now his expertise. If this commander's troop falls below 10% units remaining, it deals 400% more damage and takes 50% less damage for the next 10 seconds. Cooldown is 1 hour and resets immediately if this commander enters a building or a resource point. So, I mean, this is, I guess if you're going to be running your troop into the ground, I guess it's decent, but you know, it's not amazing. I guess it's good for dueling, right? Because you're going to be running it into the ground anyway, plus the 50% less damage for 10 seconds is nice. But I mean, if you're under 10% units remaining, you're taking a bad trade regardless with the skill or not. You are going to still take a bad trade. This will just make it less bad, I guess. You know, obviously, if you're running your troops into the ground, it's going to be a bad trade anyway. But with this skill, you're obviously going to be a little bit better off, but not by that much. Because even 400% more damage when you are less than 10% units remaining, if you have, like, say a 400,000 March in Season of Conquest with Guan Leo, and you have 40,000 versus another commander that has 400,000, you know, with this skill, you're going to do like 2,000 damage to them. It's nothing. You know, it obviously, like I said, it could be worse. Like your trade could be worse, but with this skill, it makes it slightly better, not substantial. So is his expertise needed? Not necessarily, but you want this 4 skill finished up because this 4 skill is really, really solid. And you want that extra 40% damage because that's much better than the 400% damage you get from this expertise. But like I said, you want this 4 skill finished up. So if you don't want to try to like maneuver into like a 5-5-1-5, you could try to do that, but I think it's worth just expertising if you're going to use Leo. Because, you know, if you're still using Leo, you're probably using Scipio with Luce, and you're probably using Guan Leo, which is a great 2-pair. And if I had Leo, I'd be using him instead of Alexander the Great. And because I do think that Leo with Guan is a better pairing than Alex and Guan. And so, you know, I think that Leo definitely still has his place in Rise of Kingdoms. And I would say if you are looking into investing into him, I might pump the brakes a little bit. I think there are better options now than there were prior. But if you do still have Leo, I still think he is definitely usable in 2024. Is he meta? No, but he's still good. He's still a good commander, and he definitely could still be great paired with Guan. You know, obviously there's still a match made in heaven, but you know, I think I'd rather do Guan Scipio than Guan and Leo, simply because I really enjoy using Luce and Alex, and I love that pairing. And so for me, like if I wanted to bench my Alexander the Great and use Leo instead, if I had him expertise, I probably would do that and probably lean more toward that. And so, you know, Leo does still have his place, but is he a must-use commander? No, because I used to be an infantry main and I didn't invest into him. Simply because I stopped being an infantry main when I, you know, started looking into like Nevsky and, you know, these other really insane commanders at the time. And now, you know, we have Hukabing, we have Luce, we have Joan Prime, all these commanders coming in the game that you'd much rather have than Leonidas. So with that being said, I think if you are an infantry main, it kind of changes the game. I think Leo is a commander you should invest into if you are an infantry main. But if you are not, and you are simply just wanting to get the best trades possible, I think Leo is a commander that you skip in 2024. But if you have him and you can use him with Guan, go for it. I mean, it's still a great pair. I think there are better options out there, but it's still going to trade really, really well in Season of Conquest. So let me know what you guys think down below about this video about Leonidas and what you think about him in 2024. I mean, obviously, if you got rid of the chest hair and the stomach hair, it might make him a little bit more favorable. But let me know what you guys think about Leo in the comments below. Thanks for checking out the video. Have a great rest of your day.